Hi, Virginia, the European Travel Whisperer, and today I want to talk to you about our top 5 whispers for international travel. We get asked a lot of questions when people are going away on their vacations, and a lot of them are similar, so I thought maybe you might have the same questions, and I'd answer them in video. So, the first one, should we take a copy of our passport with us? The answer is absolutely yes. And you should keep it somewhere differently than where you're going to keep your passport. So while you're traveling to get on the plane or onto the cruise ship, you should have your passport with you. That means the copy should be in your checked luggage. That way they're separated and you have them in different places. But once you're at your destination and in a hotel or on the cruise ship, you should take your passport and put it in the safe. And then put the copy in your purse or your wallet, and that you can carry around with you. Here's why. If your passport gets lost or stolen, you have to get it replaced in order to come back to the US. If you're walking around with a copy and somebody decides to steal your wallet, it doesn't really matter. They can't really do much with the copy. However, if your passport does get lost or stolen and you have the copy, it's much easier to get the passport replaced with the copy. So tip number 1, always have a copy of your passport with you in a different place. Carry the passport when you need it, put it in the safe when you don't. Tip number 1. Tip number 2, I get asked this a lot. What's the best way to get currency from a foreign country? And where will I get the best exchange rate? Always going to get the best exchange rate using a debit card in an ATM machine in whatever location you're in. The reason that is because the banks are actually determining that currency exchange rate, and there are no fees unless your debit card charges a currency fee exchange. So you really have to call your credit cards and your debit cards before you leave and find out what their rules are as to whether or not there are fees, currency exchange fees, on top of the currency exchange rate. So to get the best exchange rate, I always recommend using a debit card in an ATM machine in the location that you're in. If you have, and this is a little extra whisper for you, if you happen to use Bank of America, and there may be other banks that do this as well, but I know personally that Bank of America does this. They have reciprocal agreements with international banks so that when you use a Bank of America debit card overseas and you use their reciprocal bank, like Barclays in England or Deutsche Bank in Germany, then you don't get charged the ATM fees that you sometimes get charged for using when it's a different card that you're using in the ATM machine. So keep that in mind as well. So that was tip number 2. You always get the best exchange rate using your debit card in an ATM machine at the destination that you're traveling to. Number 3, and we kind of touched on this already, credit card currency exchange fees. Call your credit card company. You also get the best exchange rate using your credit card for purchases, whether it be to buy souvenirs or at restaurants. You always get the best exchange rate using your credit card for purchases. However, call your credit card company and find out whether or not they charge currency exchange fees on top of the rate. So sometimes there will be a 1, 2, 3% fee for the currency exchange. So it's an actual fee on top of them giving you the money or letting you use the credit card. So definitely call your credit card companies. So that's tip number 3. Make sure that your credit cards that you're going to use abroad don't charge currency exchange fees. I know that American Express has stopped charging them. I believe Chase has stopped charging them. Capital One does not charge them. Bank of America Travelers Visa or credit card doesn't charge them. But whatever credit card you're planning on using, make sure that they don't charge the fees. The other thing that I wanted to say about that also is, along with copying your passport, you should also copy the front and back of any credit cards you're taking with you so that if they do get lost or stolen, you can call the 800 numbers and immediately freeze them so that nobody can use them. So that's a little extra tip too. Okay, tip number 4. Get this question a lot, and I really can't answer it except for my own carrier. Cell phone usage abroad. Your carrier, whoever you use for your cell phone, is going to have international plans for you to look into to use your cell phone. Today, it's so much easier than it was even 2 or 3 years ago. Most of the smartphones that we use today already have the SIM cards in them, and they're all they can be used in any country. So it used to be you had to, put a separate SIM card in for Germany, then Italy, and you had to activate it in the United States before you traveled, and it got complicated. And so very nicely, the smartphones now have the SIM cards right in them, and they're immediately activated as soon as you go into a country. So beware, if you think you're going to go into a country and you haven't activated the international calling plan, that your phone just won't work, it will work. You'll just get charged a lot for it. So before you go abroad, contact your carrier, whoever that happens to be, AT&T, Sprint, Verizon Wireless. They all have international plans. Choose one that's best for you, because you may or may not need your phone while you're traveling, but if you think you're going to use it, it's best to have a plan and know what you're going to be paying for the usage. Tip number 5 has to do with not using as much data on your cell phone if you use your cell phone as a locator. So let me tell you, and I just learned this myself and I thought it was fabulous. When I was abroad just recently, I had a plan for my phone, so I knew I could use it and I wasn't worried about data overcharges or anything like that. So I was using Google Maps to figure out where we were and how far it was to get to the restaurant we wanted to go to or the site that we wanted to see. And I knew that I could do that and I wasn't going to charge a huge fee for it because I had bought the plan. However, I just found out that if you, while you're in the States on Wi-Fi, download the Google map of the city that you want to be in, you actually download the map onto your phone, you can then use it as a locator without using data. So now you're using the downloaded map, it'll still use the locator, you can still search things, you can still get where you need to go and get directions, but you're not using data like I was using, just using the Google Maps. So that's my last little whisper for you. If you know you're going to be in Rome, download the Google City Map for Rome, and then when you want directions while you're in Rome, just go to that downloaded map, and then you're not going to be using your data. So I hope this has been helpful for you. Certainly if you have questions, you can reach me anytime at 845-810-0036, or you can email me, virginia@europeantravelwhisperer.com. I hope you guys have a great time wherever you travel, and we'll see you soon.